We unpack. We unpack. We unpack. Coming to your live boxing ego unpack. Yeah. We unpack. We unpack. We unpack. Coming to your live. Why I don't really need to see a rematch next. For Chris Eubank and Conor Benn, listen, ego thoughts. I told you I'm going back to the basics. Y'all know what it is. And the first fight was a good fight. Why don't I want to see a rematch? Simply put, the weight. I do not like this weight for either guy. In my honest opinion, Conor Benn would be better suited to go down to 147. I don't think he is a true middleweight or super middleweight, right? So it doesn't really serve him to be at 160 and or higher at this point of his career. And on the contrary, Chris Eubank, he has in the past flexed between 160 and 168, but now at age 35, I think with his inactivity, that 160 is far too difficult for him to make comfortably. So he's going to potentially be putting himself in harm's way, not even with the fight. I'm talking about before the first bell, if they do a rematch, because of weight. Like you've seen, he missed weight by 0.05, right? And he had a rehydration clause the next day. So the day of the fight. These aren't good things if you've already struggled to make weight, in my opinion. So for me, I don't really need to see this fight. I get it. They try to build off of the legacy of their father's names. It was kind of a fantasy fight, meaning the guys weren't in the same weight class. Like back in the day, Nigel Benn and Chris Eubank, they were in the same weight class. So it made all the sense in the world for them to face each other. This was pretty much a force. Now, it did turn out to be a fun fight, a pretty entertaining fight. However, I just think they both should go their separate ways, you know? But money talks. At the end of the day, it looked like it drew a big crowd in the UK, in Great Britain. And, you know, they'll probably will do a rematch. But I'm just saying, for me personally, I don't really need to see a rematch here. And it's funny because I say a lot of the same things I feel on my channel because I'm consistent. So if I said it, I meant it, and I really believe what I'm saying. So when I'm saying that I don't like these matches where it's radical weight jumping and not respecting of the weight classes, I say it repeatedly on my channel, and this is an example why. Like Conor Benn, some of the shots that he connected with on Chris Eubank, other guys in smaller divisions weren't able to take those shots as well, and or they got knocked down or hurt or visibly hurt or knocked down. Now, I'm not saying Chris Eubank was never hurt here, but it's different. You see where at your rightful division, Conor Benn might be able to finish a guy when he has him dropped or if he has him hurt. But you had a pretty exhausted Chris Eubank in the second half of the fight, and you allowed him to will himself back into winning the fight and closing very strong. In fact, rounds 11 and 12 were a bit surprising if you would have seen how Eubank looked in round 10. Round 10, he was just withering and wilting, and he looked like he couldn't barely even, he was leaning forward. It's like he was doubling over. He couldn't keep himself up from fatigue. And I think that was truly from the weight drain. Not to say that Conor Benn didn't land some good body shots, but I think it was more so a combination of the things. But when you deplete yourself, when you dehydrate yourself, all of that, your resistance is going to go down because you're at a weakened state. It's like fighting somebody when you're sick, right? That's not an ideal situation. I'm not saying fighters haven't done it, but at the same time, you're entering with the weakened immune system or low iron or whatever, you know, whatever you got going on with yourself. And that's what happens. These are the dangers of these drastic weight cuts. And I think Chris Eubank is at the point where he just can't comfortably make 160. Now, Eddie Hearn did speak and say that he wants Conor Benn to move back down to 47, which I agree to, because there's fights with Devin Haney, the winner of Haney Ramirez. You could fight Ryan Rowley winner, Jerron Boots Ennis, and you held your own at 160. You could take a punch at 160, even though I think Eubank was weight drained. At the end of the day, he acquitted himself pretty well, moving up pretty much 2 divisions. So if he can comfortably make 147, then I think that's where he belongs. And also, Conor Benn, his weigh-in weight, he weighed in for this particular fight, and he was well under the actual weight category that he needed to be, which shows me he's not really 160 pounds. So I've always felt this way about the fight. Even the first time, the one that got canceled, this fight is a force. They're like trying to force it because of the family name. They did it. It produced a good fight. So I would just leave it at that, me personally, because it is very apparent they're pretty much going in different directions in terms of weight-wise. Chris Eubank should be closer to 168, if not at super middleweight at age 35. And Conor Benn really belongs at 47. So you could try to keep forcing it, but I don't know. I don't know that it's going to be able to relive the magic and stuff like that, because the first time is special because this was a fight where you're carrying on from your dad's lineage. Conor Benn's undefeated. Chris Eubank hadn't had too many fights in the last year or two. So all the adrenaline and the stakes and everything were higher going into it. Now Conor Benn is been beaten and Chris Eubank has the victory, and I think it'll just be kind of a different fight going forward into a rematch. So I really don't want to see the rematch because of the weight, and I also don't want to see Canelo versus Crawford. I'm solely doing it because they have names and I make money in boxing. That's literally it. But if I had my choice, I would rather see Canelo fight David Benavidez, or even the Bivol Beterbiev 3 winner, if that's the direction that Bivol has decided to go into, and have Crawford fight some of the top dogs at 54 like Murtazaev, Virgil Ortiz, anybody, Boachuk, Charlo, Fundora, these types of guys, Tim Tszyu, right? That's what I would prefer. But it's boxing, money talks. Let me know what you guys think. For my full breakdown on the actual fight, Chris Eubank versus Conor Benn, check out what really happened.
Would you like him to take the rematch or fight at a natural weight for him?
I would like to see him return to 147 pounds and fight for a world title there. I mean, look, we have Boots there. Obviously, he's looking to unify and become undisputed and move up. The belts are going to become available. I just know that Conor Benn can sell out any arena in the UK now, fighting at 147 pounds. But the public, His Excellency, everybody's going to want, you know, you heard His Excellency in the ring. He's already, I think he's booked the date here for September. That's right, yeah. So look, we'll sit there. It's very early days, but yeah, I that took my breath away tonight. Took my breath away. I can't even, like I said, I posted. I'm not even going to moan about the scorecards, because for me, this kid won tonight.
Yeah, I want the revenge, man. I want my revenge. It took me back. It did take me back. In a good way and in a bad way. When I'm sitting there going, oh my gosh, this is unbelievable. And then in the same breath, it's just a lot of new first times for me today. First stadium fight, first time fighting back here in three years. First fight at 160. You know, I had Eubank hurt multiple times, 3-4 times in there, noticeably. Just couldn't get a finish. You know, so I'll make sure for next time that finish is there.
Live streaming can be tough, which is why I use StreamYard. Click the link in the description for StreamYard, which is an awesome tool that enables you to set up your stream with ease of use. Get great results with live streaming. It's what I use. Stream to social media with ease with StreamYard. Live streaming is here to stay. Engage with your audience using StreamYard. Great way to reach out to your audience and connect. So you need a tool that can do that. If you're new to YouTube and you're struggling to get views, one tool I can provide to you is TubeBuddy. I've been on YouTube over 10 years. I use TubeBuddy daily to crank out videos just like this one that you're watching. Learn how the pros do it with TubeBuddy. YouTube receives a lot of traffic, which also means a lot of creators, a lot of people putting out content. So you need to learn the ropes so you know how to separate yourself, especially if you're new, but even if you're a pro, use TubeBuddy. The link is in the description. Get more views, more subscribers, and a higher click-through rate, so ultimately you can realize all of your online goals. Use my affiliate link in the description and grow your channel fast.